Hi. I'm sorry. Do you want to see how I made this painting? This painting for me was really personal. I was a kid when Halo came out. I actually have all these Halo books here. These games inspired me to be like a concept artist and a character artist. So this piece has a lot of my childhood in it. Why am I getting feelings? Here's a whole bunch of little drawings I did when I was a kid. Junior high, high school. It's basically like a rip-off Halo game. But it was an important stepping stone in helping me learn how to be creative and how to create concept art and come up with ideas. For me, I wanted to capture the feelings that I had playing Halo. Anyways, let's get going. So right from the start, I wanted to collect some feeling reference, some vibe reference. This is really important for me to know the direction that I'm going in. I really wanted to capture the feeling of Halo. You might be thinking, how do you do that? I'll show you. My initial springboard for this was this shot right here in Halo 3. Assault rifle pointed at Arbiter's face, and Arbiter's elbow pointed at Master Chief, and it kind of makes this cool X. This ring here lines up with kind of with their eyes. Just a really cool shot, very cool moment, back to back, ready to fight the Flood. Spoiler, sorry. Second thing was I wanted it to be on Halo ring in the background like this. It's such a unique marker for the Halo games. I liked the rings on Zeta Halo, and I thought that this added a nice kind of framing. I also really liked these upward looking camera shots, especially on like the Halo 2 cover art. Very epic, very cinematic. I have these two pictures here. One because I thought Doom was super cool, and I think that the robes that the Fremen wear, super cool in the wind. So I thought, what if one of them were wearing the robe? It adds a lot of drama and visual interest to the silhouette. So I thought maybe one of them could be wearing robes just to add a little bit more visual interest, more flow to the composition. And then as far as environment goes, initially I started going towards more of this, kind of a nice, cool sunset happening, lots of dramatic lighting. We've got the nice cool from one side and the warm colors from the sun over here on this side. I like these forests, but I feel like they're a bit overdone. Some of my favorite levels were like the snow levels in the Halo games. It adds so much visual contrast, having these really bright snow pieces and then these dark sections. So that's the reference for the general vision of the piece, the kind of the direction I wanted. I wanted epic, I wanted Halo, I wanted it to feel like a really cool epic moment in a unmade Halo game. From there, I went into looking at the Master Chief and the Arbiter, and I think Mark V was like my favorite armor, but I wanted to catch that Halo feeling, and the Mark VI is just the Master Chief, iconic, as Hidden Xperia says. So I took reference of the Mark VI from Halo Infinite and then Halo 2 Anniversary. So I kind of hodgepodge those together, pretty straightforward. The Arbiter, however, Halo 5, the Arbiter's armor was cool, like the gold was cool. It kind of made a callback to his position before becoming the Arbiter, but the design just didn't work for me. The color is very muted. If they had gone with something more like this color, I would have been a little bit more into it. And another problem for me is just the amount of sameness. We've got these overlapping pieces here, on the top, here. It just feels like it's all overlapping. Whereas here, on the old armor, there's shape differentiation. So what I mean by that is we've got some parts that are overlaid, like here on the foot, on the arm. We've got a little bit here, but there's more contrast in the size of the shape. Big versus small. We've got big pieces, a little bit of overlap inside with like the same silhouette. So I didn't entirely hate the design of Halo 5. I thought there was some really cool ideas going on. Really liked that shape. That shape was really cool. I also liked the kind of the bare arm. Asymmetry can create a lot of visual interest on a character. So I really liked that design decision. So I kind of did a mix of the two designs. And then I also thought that adding a robe on Thel could be really cool. Also wanted to make the pose for the Arbiter feel like peak elite, right? He's gonna be standing there with his sword and he's like all kind of like hunched over and he's ready to just... So I wanted this kind of pose for him. This pose just screams elite. I wanted the swords to feel like they did in the Blur cutscenes. They kind of got like the gas and smoke coming off of them. Looked so cool. And then once I had all these ideas kind of brainstormed out. I got a rigged Arbiter model and a sword model off the interwebs. And then I used that along with the model that I made of the Master Chief and his Mark V armor. I also made Master Chief's MA5B assault rifle. Yes, I'm a nerd. I brought it into Maya, those models into Maya, posed them, set up a little environment, set up some lighting. If you just start and go with your first idea throughout the entire process, you're missing out on some things. So you want to keep thinking, oh, what if I add this? Oh, what if I add this? What if I tweak this and make it better this way? And then, so that's what I did. I played with it. I thought, okay, well, what if, we could have this shape here be really big, play with the angle of the sword, kind of have that little X adding to that sweeping motion and bringing your eye up and into where I want the person's eye to be. So I had Master Chief's rifle pointing kind of at Arbiter's head. This makes an arc here, and then this rises up, so you kind of get this feeling of going upwards into the shot. I thought, okay, well, what if we add to that? What if we have the Arbiter have two swords? So it kind of adds this like double arrow effect. Oh, that could be cool. Arrows are nice. Just playing with the composition a lot. And eventually, this is what I settled on. This assault rifle here is pointing kind of at the Arbiter's face. This is going through the Master Chief's face, creating that sweeping motion and having that nice ring in the background. Having this kind of frame Thel's body. It also goes with his legs, so it's all kind of going up together. Having that 3-point lighting, very dramatic. And then having this nice framing relic ring here. So once I had my composition, my lighting, kicked out a whole bunch of renders for the sunlight, the skylight, the rim light, the sword light. I also kicked out this super basic grid. All these grid lines here are telling me the exact way that the camera is angled. So when I go to make my background, I can make sure that this is all lined up correctly with what I'm drawing. So I can use all this reference, paint over, turn the Mark V that I have here into the Mark VI, and then add all the cool stuff to the Arbiter's armor. Once I had this all done, and all my renders had been kicked out of Maya, get out! Then it was time to actually start painting. So how I usually work is I usually work from the background, way back here, and then work my way in close, is because I use what I've painted in the background, those colors and values, to inform the values and colors that are in the foreground. Everything fit together. So I need to figure out what the background looked like. So what I did is I brought these renders into Photoshop, some sketches. I figured out, okay, this is kind of what I want. Photoshopped in some trees, and then I played with, was it raining? Rain is cool. Was it just a nice day in the forest, or was it snowing? Well, the snow levels were part of my favorites. I ended up going this direction. Cool snow, the cape. The cloud's gonna go through the Arbiter, and so you have this big X with this giant circle on it. And that just leads your eye right to the Master Chief and the Arbiter, which is exactly what I want. These trees help add the feeling of that downward angle to make it feel really iconic. After I had my thumbnail, then I used that as reference to actually start the painting process. Started out with like the really far background and just painting in the sky, getting that nice gradient from warm to cool from the sunset, and then painting the clouds. I wanted to feel like there was a storm that was happening. And then once I had my sky done, then I worked on my trees. A lot like traditional painting. Trunks first, then adding all the little branches and the detail, and then adding in snow, all the lighting on there. Then I did the ring, painted in the actual ground, made it feel like an actual satellite image of a map. Did the clouds for that. Once the background was all done, then I moved into the foreground. So I took my base render and I made it feel like it's this old stone relic. So adding cracks in it, adding erosion, bits of moss, bits of snow on it to make it really feel like it's part of the environment. And then just completely painting over the rocks. Made a base layer, and then I worked up slowly with photo textures, the skylight layer, the sun layer, getting the lighting nice so it felt like a rock. And then I put the snow on top, and then I got to the really exciting part. The Master Chief. So I refined the line drawing, and then I went in and painted over to make it look like the Mark VI. Super easy to say, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll just change it. It took a while. There were all these layers that needed to be changed. What you're gonna do, take the AL layer, the skylight layer, and you basically just redo the lighting. Take the base layer, fix your silhouette, and then paint on the lighting layers using the reference you made. Slowly turn into the Mark VI. Then I made the sword. Oh, it's so cool! So, started out painting in Photoshop, making sure the energy sword, it's got all of the electricity current running down it with color shifts, greens, purples, blues. So I took all those individual layers, brought them into After Effects, and then used a combination of turbulent displace and noise to make the smoke effects, as well as adding a little bit of the energy that is getting past the border. So once I got all that done and brought those back in, made it fit. Initially it was too bright, so I had to bring that down to feel right. If it was too bright, it would suck the eye in there. I didn't want that. I wanted it to add to the composition. Still feel bright, but feel right. For the Arbiter, I decided I was just going to paint over and redo all the armor, because some of the renders look kind of janky and wonky. So I just decided to use those as reference. So I blocked out his armor, and then I added on layers. So edge wear, the designs, little scratches, layer by layer. The Arbiter's robe, I thought it would be cool to have it be a little bit torn and ripped by where his sword is, because he'd be moving around and accidentally be cutting his robe. Make it feel a little bit more real and grounded. And I painted over the existing under layers. Once I had the Arbiter and the Master Chief painted, then it was time to add some snow. Not too much snow, because again, that would make it muddy, and I want clear, crisp silhouettes. So I worked on this piece for a long time. One of the main issues I had was making sure that everything stayed cohesive. So a lot of times I'll flip the image, I'll flip it upside down, I'll rotate it, I will look at this little navigator. You can also use like a recording software on the other screen. You can also step back, look at it, because then you don't want to get hyper focused on something. You zoom in, work on the details. Zoom out, see the whole picture. You gotta do that so you don't lose the plot. Don't lose the plot. You can also step away for a couple days or a couple hours. So those are some ways that I avoid. This is perfect, right? It's not. It's like. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm also starting a Patreon soon, so keep an eye out for that. It's gonna be great. I appreciate your time. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Anyways, bye.